Hi everyone! Sam Raimi's trilogy is a cherished childhood memory for many of us. Back in the early 2000s, superhero movies weren't as common and their quality often left much to be desired. Then Mr. Raimi came along, teamed up with Mr. Maguire, and together they achieved what seemed impossible at the time. They created amazing superhero films. Even 20 years later, Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy is still a joy to watch and brings immense pleasure. But yes, even back then, scenes were cut from superhero movies. Today we are diving into those deleted scenes, specifically from Spider-Man 3. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with the best deleted scene from Spider-Man 3, the one with Sandman's daughter. In this scene, Flint's daughter is at the park with her mother when she sees a giant sandcastle. The little girl realizes it's her dad, and they can only communicate this way. In classic Sam Raimi's fashion, there is no dialogue, and the emotional depth is conveyed through the music alone. It's a masterful touch. After her mother calls Penny back, the sandcastle vanishes, and Flint Marko appears, delivering a crucial line.
I swear to you, he won't stop me again.
Think back to the original film. After Peter defeats Sandman in the subway, we only see one brief scene with Flint before he teams up with Venom. And what do we see? He just forms out of wet sand, look at his daughter's photo, and that's it. This makes his alliance with Venom feel poorly motivated. Sure, we know that Flint's daughter is his main reason for his new crimes, and now he wants to get back at Spidey, so he joins Brock. But in the movie, it doesn't quite work. Firstly, after the subway fight, Flint disappears from the film, and the audience loses track of him. Secondly, the motivation involving his daughter feels weak, because we only see one short scene with her. Simply showing a locket repeatedly and bringing the character back halfway through the movie isn't enough to make his motives believable. We don't even see Flint's emotional reaction to Spider-Man stopping him from stealing the money that could save his daughter, but this deleted scene provides that missing emotional connection. With it, his decision to team up with Venom doesn't seem as random and contrived. Without a doubt, the film loses depth with this scene. Let's move on. The next crucial point is how the black suit and Peter's dark side were portrayed in the original film. The symbiote suit storyline is deeply dramatic, because it's not just about Peter changing his costume for a few days, it's about a profound inner transformation. Peter starts becoming someone else, harsher and more ruthless, changing Spider-Man from the friendly neighborhood hero to a Punisher ready to kill. While it never goes that far, the potential is there. In the film, however, Peter's dark side and the impact of the symbiote are either underplayed or completely missed. The symbiote doesn't reveal Peter's dark inner self, it turns him into a ridiculous caricature. Street pickups, cocky behavior at the Bugle, dancing in a bar. This isn't an evil Parker, it's just a joke. He should have been portrayed differently, showing his darker side not through silly antics, but through interactions with the people he cares about. There is a hint of this in the original movie, when Peter eagerly tells Aunt May that Spider-Man has dealt with Uncle Ben's killer for good, or snaps at Mr. Ditkovich, but it's not enough. Think of the animated series. In a 20-minute episode, Spider-Man would manage to alienate everyone he cared about, all under the suit's influence. The dark version of Spider-Man is also disappointing. We get one great scene where he fights Sandman in the subway, brutal and intense, just as it should be. But that's where his dark side ends. Why not include scenes where Spidey, in his new suit, crosses the line while dealing with the regular thugs, nearly killing them? The animated series did this effectively, showing the full impact of the symbiote on Peter's character. The bottom line is that the symbiote in Spider-Man 3 caused some strange behavior and showed us more of a goofy, idiotic version of Peter, rather than a darker, more menacing side. The movie lacked the intimidation and gloom present in the original concept. However, the deleted scenes do explore the idea of the black suit as a dangerous addiction. Sony cut several scenes where Peter, reflecting on his actions, returns to the suit. These scenes, supported by music and rearranged sequences, effectively show the suit as an addictive force. One key moment is right before Peter's argument with Brock and the Bugle. He then goes home, takes off the suit, and has lunch with Harry. That said, I wouldn't include these deleted scenes in the movie without some reshoots. In theory, they are great, but in practice, there are issues. For instance, Tobey Maguire's expressions and the B-movie vibe of these scenes are more laughable than serious, which ruins the intended tone. In some parts of the new edit, scenes flow better, but other places have glaring issues that make you wonder why those scenes weren't cut altogether. I'm talking about the most embarrassing scene in Spider-Man 3. In the new version, this scene comes right after Peter's fight with Harry, so Peter, unsure if Harry's dead or alive, but likely assuming the worst, starts doing this ridiculous stuff. This scene doesn't belong in the film at all, and now it's even more confusing why the editor placed it there. In the original, at least the tone fit. Peter exposed Eddie at the Bugle, restoring Spider-Man's honor and climbing the career ladder. It was a triumphant moment for the hero, making the subsequent dance scene, "I'm the king, I just won," feel somewhat in place. But in the new version, it's a wild mistake to jump from a dark, tragic act to bright dances and prancing. One significant addition is the alternative scene of Harry deciding to help Peter in the final battle. Honestly, it didn't improve things. Here's why. In the original, Harry learns from his butlers that Norman's death was his own fault, not Peter's. This realization makes Harry understand he has been wrong all these years, and he forgives Peter. By the final battle, he addresses Peter as a friend, and his sacrifice makes sense, because friendship becomes more important for him than anything else. However, there was a major flaw: the butler's revelation. Why did this local Alfred wait until that specific moment to tell Harry the truth? He could have done it years earlier. The problem is that Harry's decision to help Peter is driven by external forces, by other characters. In other words, Harry reaches his decision with someone else's help, which isn't ideal. The alternative deleted scene addresses this problem. After refusing to help Peter, Harry sees a cracked photo frame of him and his friends, symbolizing their broken friendship. He decides to fix this by coming to Peter's aid. This moment is much more powerful for Harry's character because he makes the decision on his own. But since we are talking about Spider-Man 3, solving one problem often creates another. Now, Harry goes to help Peter still thinking Peter killed his father. The conversation with the butler, which revealed the truth, was cut, so Harry's change of heart and his act of calling Peter a friend don't make sense, because their friendship isn't truly mended. Harry still believes Peter is his father's killer. This is a flaw rooted in earlier script issues, meaning no matter how you edit the scene, it doesn't fully work. Could this have been fixed? Yes, by including both moments, Harry's realization with the photo and the butler's revelation. After Harry sustains serious injuries to his face, the butler should have told him about that incident. Something along the lines of "I don't want you to end up like your father," and then he could have shared the story. And during his conversation with Peter, they could have added new lines about that night and kept the alternative deleted scene. That's it. It would have been much better, because the audience would see that Harry pondered the new facts about his father's death for not just 5 minutes, but several days. His decision to help his friends wouldn't seem rushed. It would be a thoughtful and mature action. Unfortunately, solving Spider-Man 3's issues isn't possible with just deleted scenes. Yes, there's one crucial moment, but realistically, to remove the unnecessary silliness, add more clarity and depth, and fully develop all characters, you would have to rewrite the script, reshoot the film, and possibly even cut some characters. The problem of overloaded plot with characters is too strong here. It's impossible to craft a quality story in just 2 hours when you have to develop 3 villains and show the main hero from a completely new perspective. To be fair, some new scenes did add value to the movie, but I think they should have gone further, not only adding new scenes, but also cutting some old ones. If they could cut Peter's dialogue with Aunt May in the new version of the movie, which didn't really disrupt anything, then why couldn't they remove other scenes that truly didn't fit in the new edit? It's baffling. And you, my dear viewers, click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, and write what you think about it in the comments below. We'll see you soon.